Okay, it's 12 o'clock midnight on the dot. It is now, I believe, Wednesday, but I'm the kind of person, I don't really consider it the next morning until the sunrise, okay? I'm not sure why I do this, but I do this. But anyway, I am up late this evening, and I decided to make a video while I'm sitting here in the dark, and because I'm bored, okay? I'm really, really bored. And sometimes I get up early, I've always been an early riser, but my sleeping schedule has been so thrown off because I don't go to work, and, there's times where I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and can't go back to sleep, and I'm like, okay, great. So then I have all these hours sitting here doing nothing, pedaling around, But tonight, I just wanted to be up and, just kind of hang out a little bit and fiddle around with things that I have here in my house. Sometimes it entertains me for a little bit. For the most part, I'm extremely bored. So I was thinking, as I was sitting here in the dark when I was younger, I used to be afraid of the dark. But I don't know when it was when I realized that I had weird mental abilities, like psychic abilities, or what do you call it? Supernatural experiences were quite common as a kid, and I was very sensitive to it. I had all kinds of trippy things happen to me when I was younger, which, I don't know. I personally think I inherited it from my mother's side of the family, but, I do. I mean, I've always had an interest in, God, and it's just natural for me, Sometimes I think I spend too much time in the spiritual world, and now that I'm not working, it's just the spiritual world is what I mean spiritual world is you're constantly in prayer or meditation, or you're constantly thinking about things that don't necessarily relate to earthly life. You're thinking about, order, like spiritual order, or origins, or I don't know, just things that are not of this universe. I tend to focus a lot on those things. And that's good to do that, especially if you're a spiritual kind of person. But, I need a part of the regular, secular world as well. And, I would say, gang stalking has heightened my awareness. I mean, I've always been extremely intuitive and gifted in that way. But, when you're gang stalked, when it really started getting heavy, in 2014, 13, 14, actually, it started getting, it was always sick, okay, mind you, but it started getting really weird around 2012, and then, 2014, to where I was experiencing these negative feelings throughout my body, and you feel it in your solar plexus. And it was really intense. And then I remember Saturday mornings, I felt people talking about me, and it almost felt like people were walking over me. I guess they call it clairaudient, is what it is. It's like clairvoyance, but it's also you hear the sounds, and you feel you feel what's going around you, And I felt like I was this target of gossip and malicious rumors, and something was boxing me in, and it was really negative, okay? Really, really negative. And I felt an extreme amount of hate, in some of the places that I was in. And I realized that I've been targeted by not just my ex-family, but this particular person at my last workplace. And now it makes sense, and it's ooh, wow, that's creepy. Anyway, so I'm just like trying to get myself sleepy. So I decided to make this video, and you could tell I'm like getting tired because I'm just like talking slow. But in my last video that I made, I'm making this video on my phone, by the way. I just shut my computer off, and I made my video on PowerPoint, and then sometimes I use another device, but right now I'm using my phone. It's just convenient, I guess. But I'm not bashing. What I resent about this whole operation, about the part of me am understanding just to a certain degree, but I know that there was a lot of maliciousness behind it, and it really felt life-threatening to me, and I wasn't comfortable with that. I think what I resent mostly is that people have a hard time not bullying. Okay, it's like it is a very primitive behavior, and we see all kinds of like infomercials and what do you call it, public service announcements and commercials about acceptance and diversity and tolerance and blah 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 blah, all these things, and then you go out into the real world, and that's exactly the opposite of what it is. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we have public service announcements about it. But basically, this like humane society that we live in TV and in these imaginary worlds like plays and movies and television shows and stuff and I'm always constantly making the comparison, like in television everyone seems polite. There are those little creepy people who have their little agenda, their sadistic agenda, they're plotting behind people's back. But for the most part, the main characters in the show, the people who are associated with them, it's all this love, like everyone loves and cares about each other. There's good friends everywhere. I even make jokes to my son about it because, like, certain shows, the way it's set up, I watch TV and it pisses me off. That's one of the reasons why I stopped watching television, because it's not just the annoying freeze frames, it's the stupid dialogue that I have to be subjected to. Because every time I look at television and the scenarios that are being played out, I get angry because all I can think of is which bullshit it is. It just, all of it. These major life problems that these people solve in 30 minutes, actually 25 minutes because you got commercial breaks and all this other bullshit, But, I think if I was to have another kid, which I will never do because I'm almost 50 years old, which I'm reminded of this every day, okay? But anyway, if I was to raise a child in this world, especially if I could take the knowledge that I have now and go back in time and to have a kid, I would raise my son or another child or whatever in a very realistic manner, to where they probably would be set apart from the rest of the other kids, because I see why kids get set up for failure, why they get put into this illusionary world where, there's caring and sharing, and there's the programming, the mind control that they set people up in, like, oh, the world's kind, and there's, we give and we share, and, we, these group hugs and bullshit, and it's bullshit, okay? It's bullshit. People are fucking goddamn evil. And that's exactly how I see them. I see people as just, people who are malicious beings, and most people do wear a mask, is just how I look at it. And I feel this way because I experience it. It's been my reality, and it's a lot of other people's reality. I hear people talking about not wanting to hang out with certain people, but yet they'll go out and hang out with those same people that they can't stand. And in my mind, it's like, well, I understand you have to associate with people sometimes, and you have to have some sort of relationship, like whether that be a business relationship or something that goes on in their neighborhood. Like, you have to be kind to your neighbors. I don't have any issues with my neighbors, by the way, but I'm just saying is, sometimes you have to collaborate with your neighbors, okay? Like, for example, maybe there's some sort of issue going on in an apartment complex and everybody needs to know, and so you share information or whatever. These things are necessary, okay? And I believe you should be polite to everyone. But, true friends and people that care about you in this world are a very rare thing. There's a lot of people who have children and they don't even care about their kids. Okay? And believe me, I fucking know, okay? I fucking know. So, we live in a very cold-hearted world that's like masked with, religion. And I'm not bashing religion. Like I said, I do understand that it has helped some people. But, the sincerity of people and their ability to understand what commitments are and what love is and what caring is beyond their comprehension. It's like they just do stuff. They don't think about what they do. They just do it. Whether they're carrying on some sort of tradition or they decide to join a religion only because they can get things, and they don't realize what they do and what it means. I was talking about earlier in my video about how the whole purpose of this, why we are here on earth according to the Bible, is because God wants to know, are we going to serve Him with our free will? Not by force, okay? Not because of what He gives you or by, He wants to know, are you willing to make a very important spiritual decision as to which side you're on, okay? So when you pose ultimatums about, I'm going to threaten you with do this, join the religion, whatever, you are like, kind of, to me, if you're looking at it in a biblical sense, you're standing or you're representing like a mark of the beast type thing, because the mark of the beast is basically number one, it goes against what the reason why we are in this situation we're in now, or why God put everybody here on earth, or lets it continue to go on to this particular point, is because this spiritual decision has to be made on an individual basis. You see, like, you can't, it's not because you want to serve God out of coercion. It's supposed to do it because you want to. You're supposed to choose, what's here, what's in heaven, and have an understanding that the earth is not something that you really want to get too entangled in. So when I hear, I've observed a lot of things that so-called people who call themselves Christian do. And I look at the contradictions of what they do. And some people take it seriously, but I will tell you, I have not met one person in my life who has taken it seriously. And the Bible talks about broad and spacious is a road leading to destruction, and straight and narrow is the path leading to righteousness. And I'm bringing up the Bible because, like I said, I'm not a Bible thumper, okay? I studied the Bible when I was 14 years old with Jehovah's Witnesses, and I did independent Bible study as well, because I wanted to know about certain things. And I studied in different religions and everything. So the reason why I'm bringing up the Bible is because I was being attacked by so-called Christians, or representations of Christ, right? Representatives of Christ. And they are basically trying to pose ultimatums and make me convert to a particular doctrine or a certain viewpoint, knowing there's several different denominations. I mean, like, there's so many restrictions in some, and then there's some no restrictions in others, or whatever. But you're basically posing the same question, the very issue, and making me make a decision. Like, to me, the mark of the beast is not just necessarily a mark. It's about making a decision, like a choice. Are you going to be on this particular side, or are you going to be on that particular side? It's very deep, okay? It's very, very deep. So to me, it's an evil thing to even present that up, and it goes that basically to me is a red flag that shows me that this is not really of God. And I wouldn't even have to think of it that deeply, because I can recognize bullshit when I hear it, but it's bullshit. Okay. Bullshit. But when I was thinking about the Bible, it's like the argument to me is that I mentioned there's several different people who, there's so many different versions of the Bible. We have like the Living Word Bible, the King James Version, the American Standard Version. I used to have the New World Translation Bible. I used to have Bibles galore, okay? Especially when I got to be a teenager, I started to collect them, I was kind of an enthusiast, okay? I was an enthusiast about understanding why we are here. What are we doing here on this earth, okay? So we have all these different denominations to where, there's certain restrictions here, there's certain things that are more open here. Women have certain rights in this particular denomination, and women are very limited in this particular denomination. Some of it's very strict, some of it's very lenient. Somewhere women can be more assertive. There's certain Christian denominations where women can't even take a place on the pulpit, okay? So you're basically telling me that I'm supposed to convert to your religion. You're the only religion or Christian denomination that is saved? Is that what you're trying to tell me? But I do find it interesting that you would use other people to accomplish this agenda, this goal. Because I know that I work for a Catholic. I know that this other particular person is Presbyterian. I know that there's been Lutherans and Seventh-day Adventists. So I'm calling bullshit on this game, okay? It doesn't make any sense, basically. That's what I'm saying. And if the Bible is open to interpretation, because that's what they're always come up with. It's like, okay, well, tell me, why are you attacking me? Why are you coming after me? Why are you, trying to force this shit down my throat? And they can't come up with a reason as to why. Because there was never any example of Jesus threatening people. You either took it or you didn't. And then also, it's the issue of we are here to serve God by our free will. Do we want to? Are we willing to give our life to this particular dedication or cause? It's not about being forced or coerced into it. But if the Bible isn't open to interpretation, which it obviously is, then I have the right to believe what I want, as well as everyone else does, So, I don't know. I'm just ranting because I'm really tired and I feel like talking. But it does. It bothers me when people try to impose their views on me. And it's not... it's the way that it was done. And I didn't appreciate that. Especially when it comes to employment. When you use things like religion and you start currying favors where, you're giving people advancements or favors, or you're giving them perks, or you're doing things where you're showing favoritism towards a particular group or whatever and excluding other people. You are basically, people are going to take the mark of the beast shit, like, they're going to eat that shit up, like, real quick. But don't tell me you're a Christian. Don't tell me you're a fucking Christian if you're basically, serving this particular man-made religion. Because when the day that you die, you're going to have to account for what you did. It's that serious. It is that fucking serious. You know? I might be a little rough around the edges. I drop the F-bomb here and there. And yes, I'm a sinner like everyone else. I'm not perfect. I am human, Just because I have special gifts does not make me some angelic being. Okay? But what it does make me I do have a conscience, and I do understand things. And spiritual things, my spiritual life is more important to me than anything. Okay? More than anything. So some people, and I know these people who want to sabotage my life goals in order to provide and put a roof over my head, want to use my spirituality against me, saying, well, since you're so spiritual, then this is what you need to do. You don't tell me what I fucking need to do. You don't define how my spirituality leads me, how I live, whatever. In my life, my world, which I have created for myself, which I have every right to do, especially according to this law of this country, I can live my life whatever. I can incorporate whatever. If it's art, if it's clothes, if it's music, if it's whatever, I can live these things in my life. It does not make me immature. It doesn't make me any of those things. What I get irritated with is that I was being based on things that I did in my own goddamn home. And that's the ultimate form of control. What I do outside of my work is my business. Going for a walk is my business. Or doing whatever I want to do is my business. I have every right to. I'm not breaking the law, but however, this particular group was breaking the law. Okay? And why do I find it disturbing to me is because it is spiritually shattering to be confronted with somebody who's telling you to give up your spiritual life for something that to me represents every bit evil. Just fucking goddamn evil. That's evil. Okay? This is my life. Some people might think my life is silly. Some people might think my life is boring. And I wouldn't be a boring person. Okay? What I am is a very reserved person who has to be very careful about who I come in contact with and who I can consider my friends. Actually, I've always been kind of goofy. I like laughing. I like making up jokes. I like being silly. I like dancing. I like doing all kinds of stuff. Okay? But my life has been cut off because of the gang stalking. Okay? I have a great sense of humor. And some people might think my jokes are funny. Somebody in this world thinks they're funny. I mean, I think they're hilarious. I do have a sense of humor. I do. And, I can be lively too, but I will tell you, gang stalking takes a lot out of a person. A lot out of a person, I've had my life basically torn to shreds for something I had nothing to do with. And no one had any right to do what they did. So every day I deal with this injustice, and it's painful because, I should be outside. I should be doing things. I should be living an active life. I should be having a job, for God's sake. And yes, I do. I deserve a job. And no, I really don't think that is somehow accepting a bogus religion supposed to make me a better person. Is this about morals? Don't tell me about morals. The people who are involved in this have no right talking about morals. Okay? I know I did things when I was younger, and I think everyone does, But I'm not going to sit here and bash myself or punish myself any more than I had to. I guess I saw the bright side of everything when I was younger. Yeah, I did have a negative side too, but, hey, I had a kid without being married. And it was a long time ago. So they think, oh, she can't work because she might find somebody. I'm not going to do that. Especially now. Especially now. Okay, and I have no intention of doing that. People need to work. People need jobs. Single women need jobs. Okay, they need jobs. You know? And my question is this. Even if that was the case, if I was trying to get somebody, why would that matter? Okay, I'm divorced. Why would that matter? Okay? I'm not interested in that. People need jobs. It doesn't matter, you know, if you go for a walk or whatever, or, you know, I don't even know why that, to me, that sounded like some crazy psycho bitch trying to get back at me for some bullshit that was in her head. That's basically what that sounds like. Because that's just ridiculous, you know? Or talking about me doing my arts and crafts or whatever. It's just stupid. You know, I feel that this has also taught me a lot about, you know, it confirmed some of the things I said when I was younger. Like I used to say to my mom, it's not what you know, it's who you know that gets you where you want to go or in life or whatever. And of course, she would get angry with me because she would, you know, that sounded like it was anti-education or something. But, you know, I can talk about that some other time, but it's not that. That wasn't what I meant. It's basically what I'm saying is that, you know, you can know more, you could be able to produce more, you can be able to be more productive, you know, overall in the workplace or any other sector, career, whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be treated fairly, you know. And it's unfortunate, you know. And I've had to experience that for myself. You know, this world is filled with a lot of corruption. And oftentimes that corruption is masked by religion and all kinds of shit, you know. Yeah, you know, I had to see the truth in life about things, you know. And it's yeah, the world isn't rosy. It's an evil place. And I will always think of what happened to me as evil and the people who are involved in it as evil. And there's no way you can change my mind about that. So anyway, I think I'm nice and well ready for bed. And I'm going to sign off on this video. I hope all TIs are... A lot of you guys are probably going through the same thing I am. Some of you guys aren't even like high-level targeting as you think you are. It's more like, you know, just a bunch of weird psychopaths just like wanting to sabotage you and scapegoat you and take their frustration and their disappointments out on you. And it sucks, you know, it sucks. But demons are all over this goddamn earth. So anyway, wrapping up this video. Be back with another video sometime later. Take care.